What's up? Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the weekend. Little intro music here. I don't like this one either. What is up? I am up early. Usually I say, weekend, we'll go on 8:30-ish. Sometimes it's 9. Sometimes it's like 9:30. Sometimes I'm like, the earliest is like 7:45. Not the case this morning. Here we are, 7:12. And I've been up for an hour. I'm working on, I've already uploaded 200 new cards to my eBay store. So I've taken a few days off from listing after going hard after the national listing cards, that is. So it took a couple days off just to get shipping caught up, keeping up. I'm never caught up. Keeping up with shipping, I should say. And then just getting stuff organized. My wife arrived home yesterday evening, so good to have her back. And she's like on Europe time, so she comes home and she's just like a zombie. I've been up for 21 straight hours. So she went to bed super early and then got up super early. So I got up super. I've been up since like 4:45, 5 o'clock. And I'm like I just want to sleep in this morning. So I didn't get very good sleep Thursday night. So I laid in bed, scrolled on my phone, and finally it was like 5:30. I'm like, screw it. I'm getting up, making coffee, going to work. So came down and listed some cards, little Sports Center on. I had to turn it off. I don't want to get tarnished by YouTube. Sure. My coffee maker's still on the fritz. So I made a cup this morning and went back upstairs, and it's still, my wife's like, why don't you use your thermos? Which always reminds me of the Thermos song from the movie The Jerk, one of my favorite all-time movies. I'm picking on a thermos for you. So I'm like, well, my coffee maker's been kind of acting weird. She's like, you probably need to clean it, which is correct. I probably do need to clean it. But it's weird. It's like not recognizing that there's water. Maybe I do need, maybe that'll fix that. Typically fixes. Usually the like when there's an issue, like this is my troubleshooting. If there's an issue with my computer, I just restart it. Have you restarted your computer? No, let me do that. Oh, it fixed it. With the coffee maker, that's usually, if it's on the fritz, just run some vinegar through it, clean it out, boom, good as new. So I'll have to do that today. So I was able to push it along to fill my thermos. I don't think I'll fill another thermos though. I just don't think it doesn't want me to drink a lot of coffee this morning, apparently. Episode 949. That means tomorrow is episode 950. Only 50 more episodes until the big milestone, 1,000 episodes. Holy moly. So what's 50 days? Not quite 2 months away. So September, October. So sometime in early October, we should hit it. Well, there's going to be a few days. Let's see. Next Friday, there won't be a show next Friday. Oh, there's not going to be a Name That Player next Friday. So we had yesterday, right? Yeah, today's Saturday. So there won't be a Name That Player this coming Friday because I will be at Club 400. So, Friday morning I'll be at the hotel. But Club 400, Joe Madden is coming to Club 400 Thursday night. So it's Joe Madden, Bobby Dernier, Jody Davis, Ray Burris, and who knows who else will show up. So that's so no show no Hobby Evolution Friday, and then no Hobby Evolution Sunday, a week from tomorrow, because I'll be in Janesville, Wisconsin, the Janesville Card Show. So I'm looking forward to getting back to the card show life. And I'll have new bargain boxes, never before been seen by any card show customers, at least at my table. Maybe previous card shows from other people, but those will be new. I'll have some supplies there as well. Card savers, top loaders. No penny sleeves yet. I might have. I keep finding more and more packs of penny sleeves, so I might have like a dozen that I can bring. Let's see what else. So no show Friday, no show Sunday. And then we get into Saturday, August 26th is the Madison Card Show. So no Hobby Evolution Saturday, August 26th. I'll be set up again. I'm pretty sure I'm sold out. I've got to go. I'll start running my ad this weekend for the show. And before I do so, because usually when I start the ad, all of a sudden I get people coming out of the woodwork. Hey, I want tables. And I've already booked a ton of new dealers, a ton of returning dealers who haven't set up in a while. I think I'm sold out. So I've just got to follow up with a few people and we should be good to go for August 26th. So we'll review the Madison show on August 27th. And then the following Thursday, I'll be back at Club 400. Boom, boom, back to back. It's my buddy Stu, who owns Club 400. It's his birthday party. And he's throwing a birthday bash. It coincides with Sean Dunston. So he's been trying to get Sean Dunston to Club 400 for the last 3 years. And there's just been a bunch of issues, COVID namely. And then Sean Dunston moved from cross country from New York to Arizona. So that pushed him back. And so Sean Dunston and Mark Grace that weekend are being inducted into the Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame. So Dunston's like, hey, let's just kill two birds with one stone. And it happens to fall on Stu's birthday. So he's like, I'm just going to throw myself a birthday party with Sean Dunston. So it's a private party. So tickets not open to the public. So I will be there for that. The big 5-0 for Stu. Over the hill. We talked about that last week. You don't see that anymore because 50 is not over the hill anymore. Now it's 70. 70 is the new 50. So Stu's birthday party. Sean Dunston's going to be there. Brian McRae is going to be there. And who knows who else? Because Stu's a lot of guys are going to want to see, because Dunston he's hard to get. He doesn't do a lot of public signings. Now, he used to be really good with it. I don't know. I haven't been doing through the mail autographs much. He used to be really, really solid through the mail autograph signing. I'm not sure if he still is or not. Because I know some guys have fallen off. I've signed, and a lot of guys get taken advantage of. One guy that always signed every card you sent him was Rick Russell. And I don't think he signs through the mail anymore. If he does, he might charge, because so many people were sending him a dozen cards, taking advantage, and they'd pop up on eBay. So a lot of guys stop signing through the mail, or they start charging. So Dunston was really good through the mail, but he doesn't do public appearances very often. So will be awesome to have Dunston out there. And then what else is going on in September? I think we have the Midwest Premiere in September. I think the Midwest Premiere 2-day showdown in Rockford in Loves Park, I believe, is the end of September. I'll have to look that up. So September shaping up to be a busy month. October, I've got a wedding. Just got the invitation. My little cousin's getting married down in Rock Falls. So be doing that. So busy times. Today, I wanted to talk about the bizarre mindset of a collector, because I know my own personal mindset as a collector is bizarre, and I'm not the only one. So this stemmed from a conversation I had in a group chat yesterday, based on a comment. I followed up with a question because as like a Cubs only with an asterisk collector, I'm just curious on how people see their collections and why they collect the way they collect. And it's just me being curious because I don't really understand myself and why I collect the way I collect. And as we like kind of, and there was a few guys involved in the conversation, as it kind of evolved, it's like, I thought the way I collected was just easy to explain, black and white, and it's not at all. It's not at all. So I want to talk about that. Let's go into the chat, see what's going on in the chat. Todd's in the house. What's up, Todd? Good morning to you. Max, what's up? Good morning. We've got Donald Davis in the house. Kyle is here. Good morning. A man gets an early start on the weekend. Yeah. I'm bright and early, baby. We had some storms roll through last night. We didn't get hit as hard as some other areas in southern Wisconsin. I woke up, I was scrolling through, and I saw like parts of southern Wisconsin without power this morning. And I'm like, oh, shit. But I know we got rain. My wife said it woke her up, and she usually sleeps through storms. It was storming. It was just rolling in when I was like laying in bed, like 11 o'clock. I think it started to push in because it was lightning out. Happy Saturday, Dan. The wife comes home today, so I'm spending all morning cleaning. Hey, that's the position I was in yesterday. I know your pain on the quick clean job. So yesterday was a busy day. Yesterday I had to get the house picked up and cleaned up and just in order. But also I sold more cards, bulk. I sold another truckload. So I was, and here's the irony. So I'm like picking like my card room. I showed a video, quick, like 20-second hit on my card room because I got everything picked up off the floor. And so I can actually, kind of walk through. I'll probably do a more in-depth video in the next couple of days. And I want to do like the Cubs video. Like, hey, I actually have how many cards I say I have. So look forward to that in the next few days. So I had worked like all week getting that in order and just trying to get my spaces where I need them to be. So like as you walk in to my eBay room, which is next door, I have like my eBay store inventory on 2 shelves next to my computer. And then to the left, I have a shelf that's card show inventory and like trade and sale. So like Kyle's NASCAR stuff. There's a couple binders, and Kyle, I found more NASCAR as I was going through boxes to both bulk out and just to pick up off the floor. I'm like, oh, here's a stack of NASCAR. Here's a stack of NASCAR. So your NASCAR pile is building once again. So Kyle, all the NASCAR just goes onto that shelf. I've got stuff that I set aside for one of my customers at various card shows. He buys certain players. So when I'm just going through stuff, I'm like, oh, boom, boom, boom. So I've got a stack built for him. What else do I have over there? I've got a box of Jordans that I'm just I'm going to list all of my Jordans in a lot and just try to, sell them for like $1 to $1.50 a pop. There's going to be some $5 cards in there. There's going to be some dollar cards in there. So try to make it worth a customer's while. So that's what's on that. And then all my bargain boxes on that shelf. And then the shelf next to it is kind of serves a dual purpose. It's outgoing bulk and incoming bulk. So right now, after I dumped off a truckload yesterday, I've got like the bottom 2 shelves are for the next load. And then the top 2 or 3 shelves are bulk that I haven't gone through yet. So say I get a Goodwill pallet, all that stuff will go on that shelf. once it gets sorted, it goes either to the eBay shelf on the other side of the room that, is eventually going to get listed, or it goes into the main storage area, or it goes down to, we're just going to bulk this out. So that's kind of how but I needed to get my spaces organized and, picked up so I could have the space to do this. So I was able to get rid of a bunch of bulk yesterday. And then, but to get that bulk into my car, guess what I had in my car? About the same amount, about a truckload. Not quite, because I had brought a bunch of stuff in already. But a lot of the Cubs cards, I probably had 30,000 Cubs cards in the back of my SUV. The stuff from Dan, Korean Cardboard, that stuff was still in my car. So I brought all that in. So that's on the, to go through shelf. And so another good deal. His name's Jim, and he's been awesome to work with. I think this is the 5th time he's bought bulk from me. And I'm like, it's probably, now that I have everything pretty much to where I'm not like, I don't have a closet with just stacks and stacks of boxes to where it's a pain in the ass to go through cards. I can just pull boxes one by one, and it might be quick. Instead of like a month to 6 weeks between times I have the bulk to sell, it might be 2 weeks, which is good for me. Hopefully good for him, because he keeps buying them. So I was happy to get that sale and work on another future one. The cans are defective. There's like so many. The Thermos song, when he writes his family back home about the new job he got. It's called a blow job. She's going to give me a blow job. What else is in? We're talking about The Jerk. It's like, oh man, Steve Martin's one of my favorite comedians of all time. Especially his early work. The Jerk. Three Amigos is one of my favorite all-time movies. See, I have a very what's it called? I don't have a very good taste in movies. Three Amigos, The Jerk, my favorite movies of all time. Herman's in the house. What's up, Herman? Good morning to you. He says, little early for a Saturday morning. Really early. Usually it's not till 8:30 or 9 o'clock for me. But hey, I was ready to tackle the day. We've got Bears football on today, noon. So I had to break out the orange Bears hoodie. Bears preseason, first preseason game. I'm excited. I actually did watch quite a bit of preseason football last night. This is how lazy I am. So my wife's like zonked out on the recliner. And I gave her the remote. And I'm like, here, I had the Packers game on. So I had the Packers game on. And I'm like, I'm not watching this. You can watch whatever. I'll just look at my phone. So she's like, okay. So she starts flipping around and she's like, you know what? I'm so tired. Like, I don't even care what's on TV. So just left the Packers game on. I flipped through to find something and it's like, you know what? I'm just going to watch the Packers game. So I watched most of the Packers game. Oh, but I did watch, eventually I turned on Netflix and I watched the Johnny Manziel documentary. That was really good. I saw that it was on the last few days. It was on Netflix, and I just kind of put it off. Like, I'll eventually watch it. So last night, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try this out. I saw a bunch. It's starting to gain more and more people talking about it. It's really good. And, I know that he's a very abrasive character. And like I was working in college football when because he won the Heisman in 2012 as a freshman at A&M. And then he came back for his sophomore season in 2013. And that's right smack dab in the middle of me working in college athletics. So I remember, Johnny football, Money Manziel. And that was like, and I'm working around college athletics, college athletes. And so they think that's, kind because I'm not in a Power 5 conference. I'm in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. So, Johnny Football was the talk of, talk of the town, the talk of every town, right? And it was just the stories and his friend who was like his business partner. And what's sad is they fell out and they haven't talked. I think this documentary, it sets up like a reunion, because they had the friend was on just as much as Manziel in this documentary. So I think that there's going to be a reunion for these two, especially after they see, because even though they haven't talked in 10 years, 8 years, whatever it's been, I think when Johnny got drafted, they told, and they had a falling out and hadn't talked, but they both talked very highly of each other. So I think when they see, or I'm sure they already saw the documentary, I think they're going to and now that it's all that's in the past, I think they'll reunite, live happily ever after. So it was, if you haven't seen it yet, watch it. I thought it was great. I don't, a lot of people, oh, Johnny Man, oh, screw him. He was cheating, blah, 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 and he's a dick and all that. It's you know what? He was 20 years old. I was a dick when I was 20. We were all dicks at age 20. We all acted like our shit didn't stink and we'd live forever. That's just what you do when you're 20 years old. So I can't fault the guy for that. Mark says, good morning. My buddy has an extra ticket for the Mets-Braves game Sunday. Needless to say, I declined. Herman, grab that ticket. Brian's in the house. The hoodie and shorts. Nope, I'm wearing sweatpants today. I'm wearing sweatpants right now. I'll probably break out the shorts later. Mark says, I have a Mets room. My office is my card room, and my basement is my Jets Devils room. Good thing I have an understanding girlfriend. Some call my collections an obsession. I call it my absolutely. It's a passion project. Abso-frickin-lutely. Absolutely. But I do have to keep everything on this level. But I have more space now, so I can use up all the space. Zach and Porter in the house. What's happening? Good morning. Happy Saturday. Kyle says, that's awesome. On more NASCAR boxes, I feel special having my own place amongst the nearly 1 million Cubs. Grinding for good. Happy Saturday. Max says, I was born a poor black child. Yes, that's another great quote from The Jerk. It is a great movie. Grinding for good. What's happening? Red Light 34. I was watching a little baseball to see who was going to the Little League World Series. Starts Wednesday. Very cool. I never got into the Little League World Series. I know it's very popular. A lot of people watch it, get into it. Cooter's in the house. Good morning. Going to the OKC card show. So what are your card plans this weekend? Cooter's going to the OKC card show. I know here in Wisconsin we've got the Stevens Point card show today. Which is I do want to go. I've heard some good things about it. I've heard actually, for what I buy, I've heard mixed reviews. It's for what I'm looking for, it's probably not worth my time. But maybe they're just saying that because it actually is, and they don't want me taking their inventory away from them. But Larry Frick Sports Cards is in Stevens Point, which is has always been on my bucket list as a baseball card guy. So one of these days I'll get to Stevens Point, maybe double dip, see if Larry Frick Sports Cards is open on a Saturday. So, yeah, I'm just going to be listing and shipping and listing. That's my Saturday. Shipping and listing and shipping. Did you watch the Mark McGwire and AJ interview? I thought it was awesome. I have not. I'm not really. I probably would enjoy it. It's one of those things, Mark McGwire, it's one of those things where I have no interest at first. And then once I watch it, it's I should have watched. That was good. Why didn't I want to watch that? Kind of like the McGwire Sosa thing they did for ESPN back, a couple years ago. I was into that because more along the lines of Sosa. And that was the summer that brought me back to baseball. Like, I mean, if it weren't for Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, I probably wouldn't be the baseball collector I am. I'm probably, if it weren't for Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, I'm probably not selling baseball cards full time. Because that summer, it started in it actually my return of baseball. And see, I stopped watching baseball before the strike. Like I was already like, I had one foot out the door of baseball before the strike. When the strike happened, I just broke the door open and ran from baseball. So it was probably like 92, 93 is when I stopped, like when I slowed up watching baseball. And remember, I'm like 10, okay? It's not like I'm an adult here. I'm talking like I was an adult. I stopped watching baseball when I was 10. But I had, Shaq was coming out. The NBA was getting really hot. It's the height of Jordan. Shaq is coming on. Like basketball fever caught me, or I caught basketball fever. And I was into basketball for a few years. And then, probably Jordan's retirement kind of signaled the end of my basketball love, even though I wasn't a Jordan fan. Like I was a Shaq and Penny guy. But by like 95, I had switched interests. I'm like 13 at this point. And that's when I like just fell in love with WWF wrestling. And I was into wrestling until 98. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa brought me back to baseball. In fact, it was the Cubs winning, because the Cubs in 97 absolutely blew chunks. They sucked in 97. They sucked in most of the years of the 1990s. But 97, they were terrible. So 98, they start hot in April. And I think they were in first place in El Central by the end of April. And I'm like, wow, the Cubs are good. I'm going to, I kind of dip my toes in the Cubs pool. And then May 6th, 1998 came along, and Kerry Wood struck out 20 Houston Astros. And I'm like, wow, this Cubs team, who's this Kerry Wood guy? He's not even old enough to drink. He's striking out 20 Astros. Which, by the way, there's a documentary coming out about the 20 strikeout pitchers. It should be released, I think, spring of next spring of 2024. A friend of mine, I can call him a friend, former Cubs pitcher Glendon Rush is producing the show, the documentary with Ryan Dempster, who both, by the way, Ryan Dempster and Glendon Rush are baseball card collectors. So should be released in spring of 24. I wonder if I can bring up the doc. I don't know. I'll ask him because he sent the. He's pretty much pushing it, but I wonder if I can bring it up. Glendon. Where are we at? Let's see. So it's gonna feature the 20 strikeout pitchers: Roger Clemens, Kerry Wood, Randy Johnson, Max Scherzer. It's also from the directors of Pony Excess and The Boz. So the directors that did that is putting out this 20 strikeout doc. It's happened 5 times. Clemens did it twice. So yeah, I think just make sure. I want to share. I don't want to. Yeah, I think this is okay to share. Where are we going to start? All right, so I want to share my screen here. This is there we go. Story of baseball's most exclusive fraternity, the 20K Club, told by its only members and the men they struck out. So the documentaries from the Emmy and Peabody Award-winning directors of Pony Excess and Brian and the Boz, and the NFL series Indivisible. So, there's Carrie. Scherzer. Randy. Roger. So there you go. So I'm looking forward to this. Looking forward. So it should be out spring of 2024. So Kerry Wood, that happens May 6th. And then all of a sudden the summer of 98, Big Mac and Sammy, the home run chase. And now I'm in. I'm a baseball geek for the rest of my life to this point. So thank you to Big Mac and Sammy Sosa for bringing me back to the game that I didn't know I loved at that point how old was I? 16 years old. Cooter says, first HBO Hard Knocks came out, gave me a whole new impression of Aaron Rodgers. Well, that's interesting. I'll have to watch that. I did not see that pop up, but I'll have to check that out. So the reason I was watching the Packers game last night, not the Cubs game, I'm lazy. And here I'm at. I think I said this 25 minutes ago. I never told this story. So the Cubs game was on Apple TV, which I love. I love the Apple TV baseball broadcasts. I have Apple TV, but since we moved in here and we still don't have all of our, because we're still not we're moved in, but we're not settled in. And some of the channels we've got our YouTube TV hooked up everywhere, our Netflix, Amazon, but some of the other streamers we haven't signed in yet. And so my wife handles most of that. So Apple TV, and I'm like, I can't get Apple TV. She's like, oh, it should be on this TV, and it's not. And I'm like, screw it. Don't worry about it. I'll just watch this. I was feeling lazy last night. Basement Card Collector, good morning. Sammy and McGuire talk. Great summer, 98, man. And that summer is when I started collecting baseball cards again. I had stopped collecting baseball cards in 92. And 98, my very first hobby box. People say, oh, there was no such thing as a hobby box in 98 because they didn't have retail. Well, I call it a hobby box because I bought it at a hobby shop. So 98 Bowman. That's when I fell in love with Bowman. 98 Bowman. Man, I loved it. Ricardo Arambeles, Bowman Prospecting, Ruben Mateo, Eddie Yarnell. I mean, those, I remember selling Ruben Mateo Bowman cards for $4 a pop back in 98, 99. And that still to this day, nobody learned their lesson. Nobody learned their lesson on Bowman. 25 years later, people are still buying base for $4 at release. Let's see. Dan says it was a great interview. McGuire went to college as a pitcher and was on USC with Randy Johnson. That blew my mind. Very cool stories throughout about his different stages of baseball. Interesting. Sosa McGuire in 98 was a great sports distraction after the speculation the Jordan Bulls were over. Oh, yeah. And oh, man, what a fall from, wow. That was just absolutely brutal. The post-Jordan Bulls is might be the darkest days in Chicago sports. Probably the darkest days since the Black Sox, although nobody was around in 1919 or 1920, so nobody can speak on their knowledge from being there at least. But dark days, that had to be in Chicago sports history because of not just because they sucked, but they sucked historically bad after being historically great. Just the fall from being this dynasty Like greatest dynasty, arguably, of all time. I know Celtics, Lakers, blah, blah, blah. One of the greatest dynasties of all time. To, what was his name? Tim Floyd. The Tim Floyd era. Marcus Fizer was on that team. And just, that'd be a documentary I'd be interested in watching. Just the awful Chicago Bulls teams of 1999 and 2000. Now that's a documentary I would want to watch. Most Bulls fans would be like, no. We want to completely forget that era. But I'm a glutton for punishment. Although I was never a big Bulls fan. You know, I was a big Bulls fan early on in the first three-peat. But then when Shaq came along, I was Orlando Magic, man. And by the second three-peat, I was like, because I had moved on. I'd moved on to wrestling. I was watching wrestling. And then by, 98, I was into baseball. Pack Wars was selling cards at my store during the time you were talking about. That's exactly what all the young kids moved to the card market. Don't forget about the Pokemon craze. I don't remember the Pokemon craze. Like, I was collecting because that started in 96, 97, somewhere in there. I mean, I don't think when that began, I wasn't collecting cards really at all in 96, 97. 98 is when I started collecting cards again. But I don't remember the Pokemon craze at all. At all. And I think it probably started as, like, I don't think we're adults collecting Pokemon when it came out. I think it was mostly a kid thing. Because I was, by that time, by Pokemon, I was in high school. And, like, that was, like, even, like, today, like, it's cool to collect baseball cards if you're in high school. It was cool before me being in high school. Like, if you were in high school in the late 80s, early 90s, it was kind of a cool thing to do. You didn't hide it like you did when I was in high school. It was dorky and nerdy and geeky. And it's like, I don't want the girls to know I collect baseball cards. So that's kind of how Pokemon was. But I don't even remember Pokemon. Like, Pokemon, I have not a single memory of Pokemon in the 90s. Not a single memory. Like, I don't remember anything regarding. And I was going to card shops in the late 90s, 98, 99. Maybe I just didn't. It was a thing that it's like, I don't care about it, so I'm just going to ignore it. Mark says, I experienced 3 baseball strikes, 81, 85, and 94. Wanted to quit the game, but I love it so much. Yeah, 94 was 85. I was 3 years old in 85, so don't remember that. But 94, that was, it was like just completely gave up on it. Packwar says, here's some history for you. I played Little League Baseball with Frank Castillo. Yes, and I believe he's passed away, correct? I believe Frank Castillo passed away in El Paso, Texas. So you remember that pitcher and who did she pitch for? I don't know if you meant she, but I remember Frank Castillo. Of course, he was a Chicago Cub, and I think he passed away quite a while ago, too. Like, Frank Castillo. Yeah, 10 years ago. Holy cow. He's been passed away for 10 years. Oh, my God. He drowned while boating in a lake in Arizona. Oh, and he was actually a pitching coach in the Cubs system when he passed away. I didn't realize he was on staff with the Cubs. That would have been in 2013. Damn. Good morning, Travis Bogart. Thought for sure Doc Gooden would have been on that list. Just 4 names on that list. Just 4. Mark says, I don't have fond memories of 1998. I proposed to my ex that summer. Well, my apologies. George in the house. Good morning. Good evening to you. Merle is here. What's happening? We're early on a Saturday. It's very sad that Sammy and McGuire get so much negative with their names, and that summer was so good for the game. It was. And here we sit. Bud fucking Selig is in the Hall of Fame. And Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and many others are on the outside looking in at Bud fucking Selig in the Hall of Fame. Preposterous. An absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace that man is in the Hall of Fame, and baseball has turned a blind eye to Sammy, Big Mac, Roger, Barry, Raffy, and all of those other guys. An absolute disgrace. Angel Baby Cards is here. Good morning. Merle says the summer of 98 brought it back after the strike a few years before. The only thing good that happened in between was Ripken's streak. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I was in junior high when that happened. I remember the streak and approaching the streak, making the streak, hitting the streak, breaking the streak, or breaking the record. But I wasn't really, I was watching Sports Center, but I wasn't like watching baseball. I was just watching the highlights at that point in time. Angel Baby says it's because Pokemon was considered more of a toy thing than a collector card thing. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about Pokemon. Packmore says, sorry, my spell check sucks. Yes, he was boating. Hall of Fame card collector in the house. When does 2024 Bowman come out? Well, you've got to wait a while. Let's see. September, October, November, December, January, February, March. We got about 8 months. So let's see. 2023 Bowman Chrome still to come out. We've got 2023 Bowman Draft. Probably in December. I think Topps Pro Debut is coming out, I believe, the first week in September. Let's go to, I think, what sucks is the thing that sucks about Fanatics, many things are good about Fanatics, but the thing that really sucks is we don't have a calendar. Like you used to Google baseball card releases, and the entire calendar for the year would populate on Beckett or Blowout or many other websites. And you could set your clock, set your alarm to those dates. That's when this stuff's gonna hit. But now Fanatics, it's like all of a sudden, boom. It's kind of like the retail. Like back in the day, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we knew when hobby stuff was coming out, but those retail only releases, Bowman Platinum, Topps Gallery, Topps Fire, it was all of a sudden like, oh, hey, Topps Gallery's in stores. And that's kind of what it is now. We're getting like a 3-week lead up. So I want to see. There's a thread on forums, a thread on the Blowout forums somewhere. Maybe it's this. New release calendar. Perfect. Let's see. New release calendar. Updated daily. Okay. So where are we at? Here we go. New release calendar. Let's share our screen. Oop. Wrong screen. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. We want the new release calendar. There we go. Okay, so let's minimize me, and I'm gone. Okay, so here's the new release calendar. I don't know if you can, how well you can see it. Let's see. Let me go here. So we've got August. So coming up next week, we've got nothing baseball really related. The only baseball release next week is Topps Archives Signature Series Retired Player Edition, which I just absolutely despise. Archives Signature Series. Let's see. We've got some hockey and soccer, just what we love. And then we've got some football. Sage Artistry and Panini Immaculate Collegiate Football. So that's next week. Oh, we've got Leaf Exotic Baseball. Let's see, for our buddy Kyle, we've got Panini Chronicles Racing coming out in about 2 weeks on August 23rd. The next real mainstream Topps Pristine. I think that's a high-end product, isn't it? That's on August 23rd. Let's look for like, what the hell is that? The next mainstream product for baseball, the Cosmic Chrome is August 28th, which is not mainstream. Let's see. Jeez. This is also what's up. There's like no, like, when do we get baseball cards again? Like, God dang. We've got some to be determined in August, which I still just see no baseball. God damn. I don't even see Topps Pro Debut on here, which I believe is September. Oh. So, yeah. So, it like, we don't have any, like, Topps. So that's what sucks about Fanatics. When do we get cards? When does any product come out? I have no idea. That's actually preventing me from like buying. It's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, this is out. Like Topps Chrome is out. It's like, if I see it, I'll buy it. But if I knew, like if I had advance notice, it'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy a couple blasters or whatever. But I just, it's out of sight, out of mind. And that's what Fanatics, hopefully they get this under control and we can find baseball cards again. Angel Baby says, oh, yeah, that's another product that was released this week. Topps Chrome Platinum. They're in Fresno. Yeah, I've seen Topps Chrome Platinum and Topps Chrome hitting eBay or hitting Walmart shelves. Did you get to the 3 million Cubs cards yet? No. I'm closing in on 1 million, and I will not hit 3 million. Sports card ripping teacher, basement cards, I agree. Bring Sammy back to Wrigley and put a flag up on the pole. Hell yeah. Bring Sammy back. You know, I honestly think it's a fault by both sides now. The more this plays out, I think there's more to it than just the Cubs not wanting Sammy back. I think this is just my opinion. But I think the more this is played out, I think, my opinion, that Sammy Sosa he's like, I'll come back if you put a flag up or if you pay me this much money. I think it's not just Sammy not being welcomed back. I think Sammy wants his back scratched. I think he wants his back scratched more than probably most teams would scratch it. And I think that's what's holding up this Sammy Sosa Cubs reunion. I think and remember, I highly disliked Sammy Sosa at the end of his Cubs career because he was a very selfish, at least that's how he was portrayed. And just in those years since, many teammates have come out and pretty much confirmed that fact. So that's the thing. It's like, I don't think it's just the Cubs. I think there's a little bit of Sammy being Sammy in this whole thing. So Donald Davis. Yeah. So Topps Chrome Blasters. So if you haven't heard or seen, and you head out to Walmart or Target today and you see Topps Chrome Blasters, don't get sticker shock. Here's a warning. They're $40 a blaster, $40. And remember how shitty Topps Chrome was last year? Although I did see somebody post on Twitter, they bought like 10 mega boxes. They did pretty well. However, they got lucky with the hits. They got the right refractors, the right rookies. They got a big hit, so I wouldn't suggest going out and buying 10 mega boxes or 10 blasters and hoping to recoup. I think this year's product is better just based on like the rookie class. what's inside. I think it's a better value, but still at $40. I think they were $35 last year. So they've gone up a little bit. So I think that's people also forget that Topps Chrome blaster boxes weren't $20 last year. They were $35. So $40 is just a few bucks more than what they were a year ago. But you also get better value this year. Last year's $35 blaster boxes were just an automatic loss. They were garbage until they did the MVP redemption, which I think might have been like, okay, these are garbage. People are going to stop buying a Topps Chrome if we don't do something. Hey, let's do this. I'm sure that's not why, but the optics appear to be that way. So don't get sticker shock. $40 a blaster, but if you were buying them last year, they were $35 a year ago. So not too big of an increase there. Paul Heath, good morning. We've got Steve Thompson in the house. I don't want to interrupt the conversation. I have a question about Card Dealer Pro when time permits. Hey, this show is all about interrupting conversations. That's how this show lives on. So let's talk about it. What's your question? I will answer your question. By the way, speaking of Card Dealer Pro, we've got it scrolling down here. Boop, boop. 500 free scans when you use promo code CUBS, C-U-B-S, when you sign up for any subscription. So sign up for any subscription on carddealerpro.com, use promo code CUBS, and you'll get 500 free scans. So check that out. While Steve types in his question, Cooter says, I think you were right on Sammy. Give me $1 Sosa. Sports card ripping teacher says, I agree with that as well. The boombox. All right. Yeah. Remember the boombox? We still don't know who smashed the boombox. I've asked multiple people that were players and teammates in that locker room. I've asked somebody that worked in the front office. And nobody, I think people know, especially the teammates. Actually, one person I talked with said it was it like wasn't done in, like, it was kind of a rogue, like not a rogue mission, but it wasn't like in the middle of, like, it wasn't like the entire team and somebody took a baseball bat. What I heard was it just all of a sudden appeared to be smashed. And so, I don't know. There's been guesses in the last 25 years who did it, 22 years, however long it's been, 23. But the old boombox, yeah, who did it? That's the biggest mystery. Who smashed Sammy's boombox? That should be a documentary. That'd be one I'd really love to see. Who smashed Sammy's boombox? I am so thankful for him in my time at Knox College. Duffy's, refilling your drink for every Cubs home run. Hell yeah. Duffy's in Galesburg, Illinois. Knox College. So, Steve, go ahead. Shoot. What's your question? We'll talk about Card Dealer Pro. Go to carddealerpro.com. Sign up using promo code CUBS, C-U-B-S, and you'll receive 500 free scans. Here's the question. Does Card Dealer Pro have a list of sets that they have data for, i.e. 1995 Topps has 300 subjects. CDP would show 275 subjects have data. I don't believe so. But I don't think it would go that in depth on, okay, they have 275 out of 300 cards in their database. But it would be nice to know, okay, here's what we do have and here's what we don't have in our database. I don't know if that's something they would share. Because that's sometimes you don't want to tip your hand to the competition, right? It's like promoting card shows. As a promoter, when I promote card shows, I don't like to say when I'm sold out, I like to say I'm sold out. But I don't like to say sold, because some promoters will say we're sold out and they're not sold out. I don't like to say that because then people say, well, your show's always sold out. I can't get tables. There's going to be a time where you're going to be looking for people, but a lot of people may have that feeling that you're always sold out. So I like to say, hey, I don't have a waiting list. So if you want to get in the show, you got to reach out to me and we'll get you in. I'll try to get you in. But some promoters don't like tipping their hand, especially maybe if they're competing on the same weekend. Like, and I especially don't like to say, we have 6 tables remaining, because then it's like, oh, I don't know. It's easier now that the show's established and it's consistently sold out. But in the early days, it's like, you get dealers, well, how many tables do you have? How many tables do you have left? That question was always, it's sometimes you have to fudge a little. You have to tell little white lies because you don't want to come off, oh, we have 12 tables. You want to keep building. So you don't want to tip your hand to customers, to dealers, to other card promoters that might be competing that same weekend. So I can understand. I think it would be great for a consumer, like, hey, here's our database. But at the same time, it might be, we don't want to share that information because it could hurt. It could tip your hand to competitors. I'm not talking for them, but that's just kind of how I see it. I'll reach out and see if that's something they could do or would be willing to do, because it would be helpful. Because that's what I always say when using Card Dealer Pro. It's great 1985 tops. Actually, 85 tops football is not very good with Card Dealer Pro. 85 tops baseball, great. And I know I can list 100 cards in like 10 minutes. From scanning to eBay in 10 minutes, 100 cards, boom, no issues. And it's just basically spot check. There may be 1 or 2 out of 100 that, didn't show for whatever reason, just probably a glitch. But you just, boom, type in 3 seconds, actually probably 10 seconds, 15 seconds, boom, you're good to go. But I will, Steve, I'll pass that on and see if that's something they would be willing to do. Let's see. Sports card ripping teacher talking about Duffy's in Galesburg, home of the poor and unknown. Angel Baby says, as a professional musician, I remember at a very large boombox, the Sony Walkman was just as awesome compared to my boombox. Oh, yeah. And then the Sony Discman came along. You had your skip protection. Hall of Fame card collector, can you upload pictures into Card Dealer Pro from your phone and pictures from your phone upload into your computer to Card Dealer Pro? I believe the answer is yes. So you can certainly upload. Let's see. I'm going to do this and I can, I think this is an 86 Fleer Ozzie Smith. Okay. So let me go into my Card Dealer Pro dashboard, batches. Okay, so let's just want to make sure my screen is clear. Okay, so Hall of Fame card collector, we're going to hit your question. We're going to share the screen. Let's see, we need to go here. Okay, so you've got your batches. So go into your batches on Card Dealer Pro and go to new. We're just going to do test hobby evolution as the batch name. This is going to be baseball. Say we're going to do $2. I've got templates set up. So I've got baseball card, football card, basketball card. So these are basically the only thing. This is like how I set my templates up. And then I add baseball card in the title. And then I have my custom template, which just is my generic description. So we're going to create that batch. We're going to go to upload images. We're going to go front image only because I just did the front scan. So we're going to do front image only. We're going to drag and drop. We're going to click Ozzie Smith from our desktop, and then we're going to upload. So we're uploading. I wonder if it's, let's refresh. There we go. Okay. Refreshing. So that's basically what you do. I don't know why it's okay. So that's how you do it. Okay. Oh, now it's processing. Okay. There we go. Now it's processing. Let's see. Harlan's in the house. What's up, Harlan? Steve says, I'm always afraid of signing up for something and not knowing if they would be beneficial. I tried Card Ladder and they only matched 4 of the 13 PSA slabs I had uploaded. You can do, Steve, you can do a trial subscription or a trial run, and you don't have to pay for it. So there we go. So we got our Test Hobby Evolution matched. We'll open that bad boy up. 1986 Fleer 46 Ozzie Smith. There you go. That's how you do it. So yeah, you can do a trial without making payment on Car Dealer Pro. Good morning, Tracy. What's happening? Let's see. Angel Baby talking about the Walkman. Steve says the Walkman was revolutionary. Dave says, I do know if you buy more scans and you don't use them, they do carry over to the next month. And this is something that I don't think that's supposed to be. I don't think any of the scans are supposed to roll over. But I know some people have said the a la carte scans do roll over. So buy the cheapest subscription, and if you run out, buy a la carte, and those may roll over. I'm not going to come out and say, yes, they do roll over. And well, Bo said they might. Dave says it does for him. I know others have said the same. So maybe try it out. Play around with it, and it might work. Steve says that's great to know. Didn't think about that. Hall of Fame card collector says, how do you drag and drop? You just click and drag and drop. I don't know if I can explain. I don't know if I can explain that easier. So I don't understand really don't understand your question. So I just hit new. Let's just do that. Create. Oh, 1Q's already been named. Testing 1. Hey, upload card images. I'm not sharing the screen. Okay, there we go. Now. So front images only. So just click on, so it says drag and drop your images here. Click, left click, scroll, open, scroll, click, upload. There you go. That's how you do it. You can also drag and drop. You could minimize your screen. You could click, drag, drop, whatever's easiest. But I just do the click. Let's see. Steve says, I think I'm going to do that free trial. There you go. Have you ever listed 2008 Topps moments and milestones with Car Dealer Pro? Can't seem to get them on. No, because that's one set that I assume will not work very well with Car Dealer Pro because they're serial numbered, and some are 25, some are 50, some are 75, 125, 99, whatever. So no, that's something that I wouldn't even try because at least for the AI, I mean, I might try it just as a template because it's still faster than doing it on your phone. But no, serial number cards, not going to work. Moments and miles, a set like that, AI is not going to work. I don't think Chronazio would be very accurate with it. Center Stage is not going to be very accurate with it. So that's the thing. You just have to know what's going to be the most accurate. And if you're looking for accuracy with the AI, base is best. 85 tops, 77 tops. Vintage is king. Vintage is great because the AI recognizes it. There's no color parallels. There's no refractors in 70 tops. So yeah, once you start getting it, Bowman's tough. Like I dislike uploading Bowman in bulk because I'm having to do a lot of typing with it. But old Fleer, old Donruss, old Tops, especially vintage, is easy. Good morning, Double A Cards in the house. Are you going to be ripping a case of Pro Debut or Heritage Miners when it comes out? Yes, definitely Pro Debut and most likely Heritage Miners. Heritage Miners probably, I think Pro Debut comes out the first week in September. Let's Google it. It's not showing on the blowout calendar, which is weird because I thought that's where I saw the release date was pushed back. 2023 Topps Pro Debut. Apparently the sell sheet's out, so there should be a release date. Let's see. So actually, Beckett does have a good calendar. Okay, so here's Archive Signature Series, Panini Immaculate, Topps Pristine, Cosmic Chrome, which I guess Blowout had those. So Beckett has Topps Pro Debut releasing August 30th, but I did read somewhere they pushed it back a week. So I think it's now like September 6th or something, September 5th, whatever that is, right after Labor Day. Dan's in the house. What's happening, Dan? I'm early today. We are early today on a Saturday. Do you buy the hobby or jumbo of Pro Debut? So up until last year, I just bought hobby. And I think I actually, 2021 was the first time I bought any Pro Debut as far as like sealed. And I bought hobby. Last year, I think I did 2 cases of hobby and 1 case of jumbo. And jumbo was king, man. Jumbo for Pro Debut. I mean, the color, everything was better in jumbo. You get chrome in jumbo. You're paying a higher price per card. You know how I love breaking down price per card on sealed wax. Jumbo is the way to go on Pro Debut. So yeah, I'll be buying probably strictly jumbo on Pro Debut, depending on what the price comes out to be. I mean, if it's something where the price per card on hobby is like significantly less, I'll probably split it. What do you think a case of jumbo will cost? Let's see. I don't know if pricing's been released yet. Am I logged in? Let's see. Oh, wrong tab. 2023. I doubt pricing is up yet. No. So what was 2022? I can't remember what I paid. I can't even remember where I bought my Pro Debut last year. Topps Pro Debut. Jumbo. Factory cost last year for a jumbo box was $63. I think I was paying, God, what did I pay for it? And I think I probably paid retail because I wasn't yet on DealerNet. I think I paid like $90. And there's 8 boxes per case. Does that matter? I'm trying to remember what I would have paid. 90 times 8. Yeah, I think I was paying around, because that's $720. So I think that's about what I paid. Around $700 for a case of jumbo. And I think hobby was like $650 maybe. If I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, I'm guessing, I think it's probably going to be similar price. I think you're going to see retail pricing maybe $95 for a hobby box. So you're going to run $800 for a case. I hope I'm right. Because I mean, I could see it being significantly higher. I could see hobby boxes. I think I could see hobby boxes running $125 at retail. So Double A says those sell out of your eBay store good. Typically, yes. Usually the stars will sell, and then it's what I love about Topps Pro Debut and Topps Heritage Minors is the reselling of it is similar to, I would liken it to if you're familiar with gardening, like a drip hose. So it's like constantly dripping and watering your garden. That's what Pro Debut and Heritage Minors, because you're going to obviously make a lot of sales at the beginning because it's new. And so basically everything is selling. But then there's that trickle as you're going to see some downtimes, especially in like the winter months. But as we get into January, you're going to see that it's going to stream a little faster as we get close to spring training and the minor league season. So, and it just seems to, like, I mean, I'm still selling singles from last year. Like I just shipped out yesterday, ND Rodriguez, just, one card sale. So yes, they do move pretty well and they move consistently. It's not just, you have to get it up within the first 3 days, like many products, Bowman, if you want to maximize. This is something Topps Pro Debut Heritage Minors is something that really in Pro Debut is Heritage Minors. I consider a base-based product where you're going to resell it. The base is going to make you your money. The autographs are just kind of garbage in Heritage Minors. Pro Debut is a little more hit centric where you do want those hits. The base still sells, but you're because the price point's a little higher. You're looking at $80 to $100 as opposed to $50 for Heritage Minors. So that lends to, your hits. And that's why I like Jumbo, because there's more color. There's chrome autographs, which sell higher. So, your hobby boxes is just going to be paper autographs, which don't sell. They're $5 autographs for the most part, unless you hit the big one, whoever that may be. Slow and steady. That's exactly how it rolls. Slow and steady. Dave says, does older opening day singles sell? No, not really. Eventually, but not really. Topps base flagship, not really, unless it's inserts. I'm not saying they don't sell, but it's the sell-through rate is going to be really low on any flagship. Topps, Series 1, Series 2, update, opening day. That stuff is going to be, when I see bulk of like modern Topps flagship, I just want to burn it because I'm not going to waste my time listing it. It's like when people, hey, I got it's new stuff. Because usually my first question when somebody wants to sell me bulk, hey, I've got bulk. Do you want to buy it? Probably not. I'm like, is it 80s and 90s? Like, no, it's new. And I'm like, God, I kind of wish it was 80s and 90s. I'd rather have that than 2020 Topps. Brian says, I love it when Bo goes on a roll about which wax to rip for opportunity to sell. And and Heritage Minors and Pro Debut, two of my favorites for that, because you're not relying on being first to market like Bowman. Where Bowman, if you're first to market, like look at my 10 blaster boxes that I bought. I paid $320 for 10 blaster boxes of Bowman. And I sold it for a gross sales of $1,500. My net sales on that was probably $1,000. So a net profit of $670, $670 net profit. So that was a win. But that was the key, first to market. Shout out to Donruss Baseball. I don't have regrets, but I wish I would have bought 2023 Donruss at the National. The reason I didn't was because the one night that I wanted to rip, was, I believe, Friday night at the National. And 2023 Donruss had the silver pack. So if you bought a hobby box from Dave and Adams, Blowout, whoever, you got the silver pack redemption. So you went to Panini and you got a silver pack. By the time I went to buy my hobby boxes, they had stopped redeeming them for the day. And I'm like, well, can I just bring it back tomorrow? They're like, no. And I'm like, then I'm not going to buy it. It's like, well, you can come back tomorrow and buy it. But I don't want to rip it tomorrow. I want to rip it tonight. So I didn't buy 2023 Donruss. I kind of just should have said, F it, and bought it anyway and gave up the opportunity for the silver pack because I did anyway. Oh, well. I like picking your brain. You're the master. You have helped me a lot. I am not a master. The thing that I like is we help each other. And some of this stuff I've just kind of learned on my own. Like Heritage Miners and Pro Debut, that's just been me doing trial and error. But a lot of stuff that somebody turned me on to Card Dealer Pro. I think somebody mentioned Card Dealer Pro, and then I reached out to my buddy Don at Rico, now formerly Fujitsu. I did it right this time. He turned me on to Card Dealer Pro, and I'm so glad he did because I've built friendships with the guys at Collects and Card Dealer Pro, and it's been a lot of fun with them. And most importantly, well, actually, that's probably the most important part, but it's helped my business scale up, and that's huge. But like that's kind of we offer, and it's like the pay it forward. Like people have helped me, so I want to pay it forward and help other people. Steve says, have you had any eyes on Kevin Alcantara? Yes, quite a bit. He was with South Bend Cubs and was sent to the ACL Cubs for a rehab assignment. I don't know the Cubs system to know how he's doing. He's been pretty good. He's still like a top 5 organizational guy. I have my questions about him. I just don't know if he's going to excel at the higher levels. That's my worry. I hope I'm wrong. I'm very bearish. I've become, and I talked about this in one of my group chats, I've become very bearish on prospects and prospecting. Like now I look at guys, which as a Cubs fan, I probably should have been this way a long time ago. But it's like, I don't know. I have guys that I like. But the guys that I usually like, it's like I see like, okay, I hate comps. I hate calling Christian Hernandez as a 17-year-old the next A-Rod, mini A-Rod, or whatever they call him. He's like a combination of A-Rod and Manny Machado, baby A-Rod. Like that's such an unfair comparison. You're setting up for failure right away. So I've become very bearish on prospecting. Kevin Alcantara has a lot. I mean, he's got big upside. And I hope I'm wrong, but I just have this, like, I think he's going to excel. And I think once he hits AAA, I don't know. Steve says, you mentioned Pro Debut. I have his 1/1 Superfractor. Oh, really? If you would ever be willing to sell that, I might be interested in buying it because I do enjoy it. Because here's why: because they're cheaper than like Bowman. They're like the bargain bin Superfractors. I bought a Canario, Alexander Canario, Superfractor Auto. I paid $200 for it, which I thought was a deal. So, because the Bowman is like crazy prices, but you could get Pro Debut. I had a Christian Encarnacion Strand, and I sold a Pro Debut. I pulled out of a jumbo. I sold it for I think $375. So and that was the non-auto. So when I was able to snag the Canario Auto for $200, I'm like, hell yeah. So if you're ever interested in selling that, let me know, and I may be a buyer. Big Harv, happy weekend. Good morning to you. So I am going to call it a day. Noon today, we've got Bears football. It's so weird. It's only 8:30. It's only 8:30, and here I am, already an hour and 20 minutes in, about to wrap up a Saturday. So I feel productive already. Even though I'm wearing sweatpants and a hoodie, I'm having a productive Saturday. Steve says, if I do decide, I'll reach out. No plans yet, still watching him. And that's the smart way to go. He does have a lot of hype right now. But I think that I still think for me in prospecting, there's always a selling point. But the hardest decision to make is predicting when that selling point is. There's always a top of the market. And sometimes it's at release. Sometimes it's a year later when he's in low A South Bend. He could get hot in double A Tennessee next year and then all of a sudden go to triple A. And then sometimes those selling points could happen when he gets call up, or he gets called up and he hits 3 home runs in 3 games. So there's always, and it's just predicting that you don't want to miss the selling point. His selling point could be in single A. His selling point could have been at release. And then you just wait for the next stop. Okay, he's going to get hot. He's going to get hot. He's going to get hot. And then they never get hot again. It's predicting that. It's predicting that. And I think we've all been right. And I think we've all been wrong in those times. There's a guy that you may have heard of that I sold early on. His name was Shohei Ohtani. And I was buying so much wax in 2018. Topps, Bowman, Topps Chrome, Topps Update. And I sold it all in 2018 and 2019. And now I'm like, oh my God, I probably had 20 copies of his Topps Chrome rookie. I bought cases upon cases of, actually not cases upon cases. I bought 1 hobby case and I think 2 blaster cases of 18 Update. Some of the Ohtani Topps I was selling for like $2, $3. Looking back on it, oh my God. So sometimes we think, hey, we're going to sell now. Hey, I'm getting $3 for a base rookie card, and we're happy. And then sometimes those base rookies go. And I'm sure I wasn't really collecting in 2011, so I don't have any Trout stories. But I'm sure people were putting Mike Trout rookies in the quarter boxes back in 2011 or dollar boxes. So that's the toughest part when you have a prospect-based product. Big Harv says, productive. I'm still wiping out the eye boogers. But you're on the West Coast, so you haven't. It's only 6:30 out there. You get a pass. 1,000% accurate per usual. Angel Baby is out. We all live and learn. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to call it a morning. Have a great day. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. We'll do it all again tomorrow. I would say 8:30-ish, but who knows? And tomorrow I'll probably sleep in. It'll be like 9:30. Who knows? We'll know in the morning. But I can tell you 7 a.m. on Monday. But we will go live tomorrow morning. I've still got some cleanup in here before I do. I want to do my Cubs video, but I've still got to, get some boxes organized in that card room. So I probably won't do that today. And I probably won't do it tomorrow. But sometime I will. So like, subscribe. Have a great weekend. Have a great Saturday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning. We'll see you then.